I had to look up blasphemy to make sure I wasn't being blasphemous. The stuff they had, how they talked about like the Archangel Michael, God was in the book. Yeah.
You wanted to make sure you were still good with God.
Yeah, I was like, I can't go to hell because y'all want to be out here being ridiculous, you know?
Happy Thursday and welcome to Pero Comma Podcast with Colette and myself, Liz. Oh, yes. So today we're going to be going over our September wrap-up. Colette, would you like to start with yours, darling?
Yes, I'm in my store graph because we can look at our monthly stats here. No shade. For the month of September, I read 8 books, 3,638 pages. It took me an average of 2 days to finish a book. My biggest mood was adventurous on my pie chart thingy, and then lighthearted, and then reflective. I don't know what I was reflecting about because I don't remember none of that. And all my books are 100% fiction because I don't read about real people. 7 of my books, the majority of my books were romance. And 1 of them were print. I'm so proud of myself.
One of them was what?
Print. The actual physical book.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Wow. And my average star rating last month was 3.72 stars. What about you, Liz?
Okay, so for me, I read a whopping 5 books. Well, I read 1 book and listened to 4, totaling 5 books consumed in the month of September. My average read time was 6 days. My biggest mood was tense. The next one was mysterious, and then the next one dark. We're in the fall season, so yeah. Even if we're not, but whatever. 1 digital on my Kindle, and the rest were audio. Oh, I know why it's tense. I know what book did that. Of course, they're all fiction this month. And my average rating was 3.9.
Oh. Not bad. Do you want to go ahead into your books that you read, ma'am?
I must. Yeah. So, we start off with The Dope Man's Wife by Jaquavius Coleman.
Do you know, you told me about that book, and then all of my Bookstagram is everywhere. Apparently, everyone has read it.
It's old.
I never heard about it until Liz said something.
I mean, it has to be. It was published in 2009. She had a flip phone. There were payphones that were being used. So.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm mad I can remember that too. Go ahead, girl.
So, yes. So this follows a stripper who scams people. Okay, Cardi B. Like a Cardi B.
A stripper.
And
this is my life. Okay, go ahead.
She falls in love with some whatever. He steals people's money. He's a hood guy. She falls in love with Thug.
He's an extortionist?
He's part of like a gang and they go and they steal money from points.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can't relate, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't. So, but that's like a toxic relationship, and then she gets out of it, and then she meets somebody else, and it's just her journey through the craziest shit
So
that
it's
I have
about.
read.
Oh,
It's about her.
I was gonna say, oh, the dope man's wife. Duh, I got it.
Yes. Yes. So she's in this toxic relationship with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
She finds a way to get out of it with her friend, but in that she loses her cousin. It's her cousin. I feel like it reminds me of Power.
Okay.
And so she gets away because the guy's best friend is after her because he saw the whole thing happen because they ended up killing the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Her and her cousin. He ends up, and then his best friend, his right-hand man, goes after her. But she's able to get away. She goes to another city and she starts over. The way that she's able to start over is because she was able to steal all this money from him. I think it was like $80,000. Back in 2009 would be a lot more than it would be today. So she was able to go to another city. She had a card for this guy that was looking for people for The Wire. To give you context of when this was set, The Wire was starting. They were filming the show The Wire.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So she tried for a part there, and the guy invites her to a party. From there, she meets the dope man.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they click, because she's been around, this world, but she doesn't want to be that anymore. So the way they click, he's like, yo, she's different. He thinks she has her shit together because now she has a nice car that she acquired by this crazy shit that happened.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she has a nice car and she looks like she has her shit together. So he's like, this is different from the normal strippers that try to get with me because I'm the dope man, blah, blah, blah. So naturally, they get together and her past just comes back. And yeah.
Is it HEA?
Huh?
Is it a happily ever after?
I would say no.
Okay, cool.
But there's other books in the series, but this book there is no.
So there's a twist.
I mean, no, there's no twist.
Oh, okay.
Everybody just dies, except one person, and that they go make a book about. Yeah. Everybody dies. Everybody betrays everybody. Everybody kills everybody. God! I don't even know what to say.
That sounds fantastic.
I told you, it's like Power. You thought I was joking?
I gotta read it
now. It's just, if you guys want, it's free if you have an Audible membership. It's a part of the Audible Plus. Yeah.
How's the duration?
I rated it 4.5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not my usual type of book.
Yeah.
But it did. I couldn't stop. And it was, again, audiobooks are usually what I listen in the car. Mm-hmm. This came into the house with me. Like I was listening to it in the house. And it was a lot of like, what? Oh my God. Oh, that happened? Like, it was, yeah. So that is one of my books. Colette, right. Do you have a book you would like to share with us?
Well, the first 2 books I read last month was the last 2 books of the Unshaken series. That I told you is like more of a paranormal erotica.
Oh, okay, yes.
I rated those pretty well. The second book I rated 4 stars. The third book I rated 3.5 stars. It was shorter. I felt like it was extremely rushed. I didn't know if she had other work that she needed to get out or whatever, but it was shorter and there was a lot more hunching. And I'm like, y'all know my pet peeve is we about to die and you out here hunching. It bothers me. Can we fight the battle first? Please. Like, I can't. But other than that, it was actually written well. So I think I've talked about it before, but it's a girl. She was supposed to go into the Light Academy. she didn't get accepted to the Angel Academy, so Hell Academy accepted her, and she ended up going there. And then they had to figure out why she was accepted into Hell Academy if she is an angel, because angels don't go there. I had to look up blasphemy to make sure I wasn't being blasphemous. The stuff they had, how they talked about like the Archangel Michael, God was in the book. Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted to make sure you were still good with God.
Yeah, I was like, I can't go to hell because y'all want to be out here being ridiculous, you know? So after I realized it wasn't blasphemous, you know, but something that, I'll tell you off camera, but something that God said to her, because she had a conversation with God, made me think about something that was written in the Bible that you and I are going to discuss later, because I was just like, that actually kind of makes sense.
I like that.
I didn't expect it to be that deep. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would actually recommend anyone to read it. I thought it was a really good book. Again, it is a paranormal erotica. It's a lot of hunching. If you don't want to read the hunching, this is not for you. Because in order for her to claim her tethers, that's what they're called, because she has 2 mates and 3 tethers. 4 tethers, I'm sorry.
That sounds stressful.
Who are you telling? My coochie tied. I can't. I cannot. But in order to complete it, they had to have sex. So it was just like, okay, I see where you're going, but like, all right.
Do you? Whatever.
Yeah. So yes, what's your next book, Liz?
So my next book is 20 Years Later by Charlie Donnelly. Mm-hmm. And here's the description. I'm just going to read the description because I don't want to give anything away. Super good book. I rated it 4.5. You might figure out some of the things throughout the book if you read it, but you're not going to figure out
the big twist.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Me, I didn't. You might be smarter than me. Probably are. Whatever. So, description. Avery Mason, host of American Events, knows the subjects that grab a TV audience's attention. Her latest story, a murder mystery laced with kinky sex, tragedy, and betrayal, is guaranteed to be ratings gold. New DNA technology has allowed the New York Medical Examiner's Office to make its first successful identification of a 9/11 victim in years. The twist? The victim, Victoria Ford, had been accused of the gruesome murder of her married lover. In a chilling last phone call to her sister, Victoria begged her to prove her innocence. Emma Ford has waited 20 years to put her sister to rest, but closure won't be complete until she can clear Victoria's name. Alone, she's had no luck, but she's convinced that Avery's connections and fame will help Avery, hoping to negotiate a more lucrative network contract, goes into investigative overdrive. Victoria had been having an affair with a successful novelist found hanging from the balcony of his Catskills mansion. The rope, the bedroom, and the entire crime scene was covered in Victoria's DNA. But the twist puzzle of Victoria's private life bellies a much darker mystery. And what Avery didn't realize is that there are other players in the game who are interested in Avery's own secret past. One she has kept hidden from both the network executives and her television audience. A secret she thought was dead and buried. Bum, bum, bum.
That sounds like something that'll put me, have my lights on and stuff. I ain't got time.
No, it's not scary like that.
No. If I'm anxious, I turn on the lights.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It makes me see better.
So you see, and that's just one of, like right there, Dope Man's Wife, this book. How is it not going to be tense? One of my moods. How is it not, I get it.
Yeah. So my next book, hell no. I'm just thinking about what you were saying. That's a lot. My next book was a book we already discussed, which was The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon.
That's one of my books too. So right here, we're about to cancel out 2 books.
Yeah.
We don't need to say anything. Watch our video.
Right. We'll link
Hilarious.
it. We'll link it.
Hilarious. Oh my goodness.
That was a good book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I laughed out loud a lot.
Available on Kindle Unlimited if you have it. Just like. My next 3 books after that took me forever because the first one I read was In Covenant with Ezra, and I was like, remember I kept texting Liz. I was like, Liz, this man is obnoxious and annoying. I don't know why people like this book. I DNF'd it, and then I was talking to another friend of mine on Bookstagram, and she was like, no, girl, you got to push through, and I did. I don't know if I'm pleased or annoyed. Like, I don't know. It's the way she wrote it. I rated that book 3.5 stars. The next one was called In Love with Ezra. I rated that 3.5 stars. And then the third one is called Bonded with Ezra, which I rated 3 stars. Let me explain the premise of the book. He is a pastor. Okay? He's a bishop, as a matter of fact. I don't know if you know what a bishop is, but a bishop they are the clergymen that actually start the churches. Unless it's blessed by the bishop, it's not technically considered a church. So he is a bishop. His father, who was bishop before him, is retiring. He wants his son to take over the church. And he's like, okay, he's looking for a wife. Now, he ran away from God. I don't want to say ran away from God, but he was doing his thing for a while. So he was in the world. And now he's back in the church. So when he was looking for a wife, he wanted a wife that wasn't raised in the church because he likes BDSM. Again, another book I had to look up blasphemy to make sure I wasn't going to go to hell. I don't know what was going on in September. But yeah. So he meets this girl. They basically get married out of convenience. She is in the hood. She's trying to make it. She doesn't really have anything going for her, but she qualifies as far as what he needs for a wife. He has the finances so she can get up out the hood. So it's a mutual, they understand, they're going into it with, hey.
Eyes wide open.
Right. Of course, she ends up falling in love. And it proceeds from there. I do not want to read about another pastor that likes BDSM. You can do your thing. The Bible says the marital bed is undefiled. Go ahead, do you. That's fine. I don't want to read about it. Y'all hunching to gospel music. I'm married. I'm not hunching to no gospel music. I can't. Like, what?
I would not be able to do that.
I can't. So
people do that?
It was in the book, girl. Like, she set the scene, and it's so funny because the song she was playing, the wife asked Pastor, what song is that? It's a beautiful song. So I looked it up to see if it was a real song. And it was a real song. I shared it with you, as a matter of fact. I thought it was a beautiful song. I was like, but now every time I hear it, I'm just like, yo, they was hunching. So it kind of like distorted the song for me. But every time I hear it now, I think of the scene because they was like deep in it. I was like, I had to remove it from my gospel list. But it's a beautiful song. But it ruined it for me. But yeah, overall, it's a solid plot. I just felt like my issue was with him. I felt like he was 40 years old and he was very obnoxious and just, I guess he was supposed to be highly educated, and so he spoke proper English, but I felt like the word usage or the word choices that she chose for him was just, let me consult a thesaurus so it sounds smart. But I'm reading it and I'm like, I wouldn't use that like that. That's what threw me. I felt like you were trying to sound smarter than what you were. I know that sounds rude. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying. So that's what threw me. And I just felt like he was very childish. Like she was like, I need X, Y, Z from you. And I can't do that. I need to focus on the church and God. You are 40. You better do it. Hell. So yeah, I would still recommend it. And that's where I'm gonna leave it at. What's next for you, Liz?
My next book is Mad Love by Wendy Walker, and this is an Audible only book.
Mm-hmm.
And I rated it 4 stars.
Okay.
So the perfect couple is found murdered in their bed. The wife had 2 kids prior to this. They're twins. Mm-hmm. There's a letter to the lawyer explaining a story of her marriage. Now in this couple, the wife, her ex, well, not ex-husband, but she's a widow. Mm-hmm. Her husband was found dead in the garage. They labeled it as suicide. Okay. And the lead detective was one of his best friends from high school. It was a woman. And now she is also the lead detective on the case of the couple shot. Now, the husband dead. The wife is in critical condition in the hospital. Mm. So now the detective's trying to figure out what's going on. The lawyer received a package a few days before this, and letting her know something happens to me. You need to read this. Okay. And in this package, the wife tells the story of her love for her husband that passed away, how she met her current husband, and all the crazy things with her current husband. Okay. She's wealthy. He was after the money, but it goes deeper than that. And there were some twists that I didn't expect. So, really good book. If you're looking for a mystery, really, because there's multiple.
That's like what's that little stupid book we read earlier this year that your daughter told us to read?
Oh no, Credence?
No, Grandmother. Greece? No, the other one, the one we did the video on. Book? By Penelope Douglas, not Penelope Douglas. I lied. I'm so sorry. Not you.
HD. Haunting Adeline. Yeah. Because the grandmother.
Yeah, remember the grandmother had a diary of like the relationship. Was it like that?
No. Okay. It was like a letter letting the lawyer know.
Okay.
Yeah. What was, yeah. And what she wanted done and all of that.
Interesting.
And in the letter you find out like who the husband was and all this other crazy shit. It was good. It's like a 4-hour listen.
Oh, okay. So it's short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not long at all. There's not, a lot to it. That's why I didn't say it. But there's, yeah. Okay. And your next books.
And my next books, apparently September was the month of series for me. My final 2 books for September was Sister Soldier. Sister Soldier is the author. Midnight, and then the second book, Midnight and the Meaning of Love. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed these books. I gave both books 4 stars. If you ever grew up reading Fly Girl by Omar Tyree, The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier, she wrote about Midnight, The Coldest Winter Ever. So Midnight got his own spinoff. But this is beforehand, because in Coldest Winter Ever, he's an adult. But this is him growing up. So he's like 14 when the book really takes off. It talks about him coming from money. He had a huge compound that his parents owned. His father was he worked with the government, but he also owned his own businesses. They literally had a diamond farm. Is that what you call it? Where they mine diamond? Yeah, they mine diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah. And then something happened, and they basically tried to take the father's stuff. So he had to leave with his mom, who was pregnant with his little sister at the time, and him. He was 7. His sister wasn't born yet, so his sister was actually born in the U.S. Doesn't know the dad because he was already dead by the time she came.
Mm-hmm.
They moved from having all of that wealth, all of that, to the hood in Brooklyn, the Bronx. Child, I don't know. It's New York, Pickleboro. I don't care. Anyway. And then he talks about his faith because he grew up Muslim. So he talks about his faith. His mom was considered the first wife, which is the primary wife. The primary wife gets anything and everything. But because he's Muslim, he can have multiple wives, but you can only have up to 4. It has to be discussed. Like, they can't just marry just because they want to marry. If the wife doesn't agree to it, he can't do it. And then the second wife would have to know her place. Like, you are not in charge over here, so check yourself. And the third wife and the fourth wife, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But he's very much deep-rooted in his faith. And then he meets these Americans. Now, mind you, this is like in the 80s when he comes here. So he meets Americans that are quote-unquote 5%ers or Black Muslims. And he's like, the way they practice Islam is not how we practice it. And the way that the women carry themselves, he was like, his mother always covered himself unless she was at home. When they're in their apartment, she was able to take off her hijab and headscarf, all of that. And I was just looking at the reviews of the book, and a lot of people felt very insulted by the way he would describe Black American women. And I was like, I don't feel like he was describing Black American women. I feel like he was describing what he saw in the hood, which was women that had on basically no clothing as far as he was concerned, that was being promiscuous, which is how he was raised. And he just felt like that was beneath him. And I don't know, it made me look at Islam different. I felt like the way she explained it made sense to me. And I feel like a lot of people were offended by it, but I don't know how you're offended by the way that someone grew up. That's his faith.
Yeah.
How he grew up. That's what he knows. I'm gonna
and it's accurate.
Mad. Yeah.
And it's accurate.
Like, I'm gonna sit here and be mad at someone. I grew up Christian, and I'm gonna be mad at someone because they grew up atheist. Like, well, it doesn't make sense. And then he ends up getting 2 wives. Girl, it's the whole thing. But yeah, he had said in the book he was glad that none of his wives were American. So a lot of people were upset about that. Well, why are you here? And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, I feel like you're missing the point of what he's saying. Like, I don't feel like it's an attack towards people. It was just the way he was raised, what he saw, how he viewed it. And I had to respect it because it was different.
Yeah.
It was different.
You don't have to, you didn't have to finish the book.
Yeah. For you,
it could just be not for you. You don't have to give it a 1-star rating.
Yeah. So one of the reviews were saying, because he's Muslim, he gets multiple wives. And I was like, yeah, because he literally talked about being Muslim and having multiple wives. I don't understand what you don't understand. I just felt like the reviews, the way they rated the books and the reasons for why they rated the books did not make sense for the rating. You understand? You're basically on their faith. I just felt like for you to then turn around and say you're a Christian, you're making us look bad. Shut up. But yeah, I honestly would recommend it. I thought it was actually a really good book, a really good read. He breaks down just basically growing up in the 80s, coming from his faith. And like I said, like one of his friends was a black Muslim or a 5%er, I don't know what you want to call him, and he was like, the dad was out here eating pork and having sex with other women that wasn't his wife. And he was like, well, I don't understand how you're a Muslim and cheating on your wife when you know in the faith and in the Quran it says you can't do that. And he was like, you don't get it. Nah, you don't get it. Why would you pick a wife that isn't in agreement with your faith? That doesn't make sense. And they just felt like he was being disrespectful because he was a teenager, but he was like, but literally it tells you if your wife is not in agreement with your faith, they can't be a part of it. So why would you even bring her into it? That's greed. And greed is a sin. And like I just thought it was a really good book. I would highly recommend people reading it. Some of it was a little bit like, all right, girl, that shit ain't happen. But it was good. And those were my final 2 books. What about you,
Liz? My final book is The Watchers by A.M. Shine. This actually just came out. I don't know how long ago it came out, but it was a movie, or it is a movie, by M. Night Shyamalan.
I'm about to say, isn't it a movie? Okay.
Yeah. And it this girl goes to do a favor for someone she knows and deliver this parrot to this city.
Parrot bird?
To this town. A parrot, yeah. It's okay. They call it the golden one. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so on the way there, she's going through these, through this forest, and her car stops working. Mm-hmm. And she stays in the car overnight, but in the morning, she goes and she starts walking, and these people find her, and they bring her into this place. And basically, it's a group of people in this building, and there's these things outside that take them, and they're trying to figure out, like, she's lost. She has no idea what's going on. There's this older lady there that's just like, no, she's basically the one running shit. Yeah. Like, this is how we have to do it. We can only go out at this time. So throughout this time, every night these things come out, and they have, like, where they could see in, but the light keeps them safe. I forgot what movie I saw like that. Anyways, the girl finds this door, and it goes down into a bunker. They find a computer where they see a video of this professor talking about it. It goes back to, like, old myths, and they're fairy people, and that's what that is. And with that, there's food and stuff, and they're like, yo, we can leave. Like, he tells them, if you're gonna leave, there's a boat over here that's covered, so you can get in the water and go. So they do that. One of the people dies, and it ends up just being the older lady, this redhead that was there crying about her husband, and then the chick who got lost in the forest. And they make it to town, and they're like, we got to destroy the professor's stuff. One of the ladies is acting weird. There's just, in all reality, we're surrounded by aliens, is basically. Okay. I don't know how to explain anything else. It was just, I don't even know how to, like, it was one of those, I was excited to listen to it because I like M. Night Shyamalan. I do know that you have to watch his movies maybe a few times to, like, get Yeah. But this, I was kind of left like, yeah. What? Okay. Yeah. I get it. So I forgot. I don't. I think I rated it 3.5. So yeah. I mean, it kept me enough that I finished it and all that. I just didn't.
You were underwhelmed.
Yeah. Thank you. I couldn't. Yeah. Underwhelmed, definitely. But it was still a good story.
Like, the premise was there, but the execution just didn't deliver.
Yeah, it just didn't. I know that some people love it. It just,
Yeah.
for me, it was okay.
Okay. Well, those
And
are our
that's it
books
for me.
for the month of September. And then we're going to do our TBR prompt jar so that we can read some books. Would you like to start with the
Yeah.
digital first?
Okay.
All right, digital. Shake, shake, shake.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty.
Okay, let's see. Let's grab one. Let's close you. And this says a book with a TV or movie adaptation.
Ooh.
On my digital? Dang it. Hold up. Digital, girl, digital. Yeah, I saw you looking at your
I don't know. Because I'm like, are any of them on Kindle Unlimited?
Oh, I got it. A Discovery of Witches. I literally just bought it like 2 days ago. That's going to be mine, A Discovery of Witches. If you haven't seen the TV series, I actually watched the TV series. I really enjoyed it. But if you haven't seen it, all 3 seasons are now currently on Netflix. Just so you know.
I'm actually in the middle of watching it, and it is pretty good. We're gonna have to post mine because I'm gonna have to go. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have had books ready.
That's fine. PBR. Uh-oh.
For cute little jars.
I know, I'm so excited. Ooh, physical TBR. Blue cover. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Blue cover. There's one looking at me right here. There's a blue one right behind you. Did you read that?
I know, but hold on.
Okay.
No, that's a Christmas book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll do this book.
You don't sound convinced. You sure you don't want to post that one later too?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. My books are just all boxed up because of the hurricane.
The hurricane. Well, I happen to have this one out. So, you ready?
Yes.
Isn't it pretty?
That is gorgeous. I like the.
Yeah.
Is that a mountain?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Air by
I remember
Sabah.
you telling me about that one.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but good things about it. Carrie said she loved it. So here we are. Yeah, but this I have to read. It looks good. What is it about? I can't pronounce these names. I'm not even going to do it. But the point is, she's going on a journey. There we go. All right, y'all. So that concludes our September wrap up. Liz will post her digital and physical TBR prompt jar picks. There we go.
We'll have it at the end of the video as well.
Yeah. And just let us know, have you read any of these books? Or are you planning to? What were your September reads? Because, as always, we're trying to add to our TBR. And we will see y'all next week. Hold up. Don't forget to follow us. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You thought I forgot. You thought I forgot. Yes, you did. I ain't forget. And we will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.